I can't even focus on the size right now because your Johnson is so ashy that if I struck a match next to it, it would literally incinerate. Hello, welcome to From the Desk of Monique Starr, where I talk to you about the ins and outs of just being a spicy creator and what that entails, what that feels like, what that looks like, especially from a fat black femme and non-binary perspective. Um, I think it's important that we note the context around that is based around identity, especially in this conversation, because we don't always get a platform for people who look like me to talk about these issues and to do advocacy work on a platform that's pertaining to spicy creatives and spicy workers and spicy content making and what that looks like and feels like for fat black femme bodied people, especially those that are not cisgendered. So there's a few things I want to talk about today. I'm going to start on a more unserious note because I think that will be a good way to kind of set the tone. But then I want to kind of end this video on a more serious note because I think it's important to blend the levity with the legitimate issues that we're facing and talk about that in great detail on both ends. So, what is on the docket and what is on my desk for these last few weeks? Well, spicy work has been a slow climb. It's given when the man was climbing the mountain on the music video for Avicii's Levels. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. Sorry, I have ADHD, so I'm going to get off track, but let me get us back on track. It's a slow fucking climb. We are in the era of a techno oligarchical fascist regime, or regimes plural, to be honest. TM. And since we are in a very limited existence where there's a lot of censorship, there's a lot of wanting to police people's bodies, there's a lot of wanting to put the authoritative boot, so to speak, on marginalized bodies. And let's be clear, we've already been in a fascist government and a fascist system because number one, white supremacy is a thing, and number two, America, as we know, is a byproduct of chattel slavery. So we do know that this was going to happen, considering things have happened in a similar fashion before. It's just different because we have AI and we have a lot of these technological advancements, some of which have contributed to allowing people like me, not the fascist part, but just the technological advancements part, allowing people like me to exist online and to create content online and to sell it. However, with all these bills and such coming out, and with folks such as myself who have lost their full-time jobs, who are now pivoting to various types of work. Mind you, I was doing spicy work even before this moment, like right during lockdown, because I was trying to figure out myself and my body and like how I felt about those things. It's still important to note that technology is this privilege that the system likes to manipulate at will, where they want to give it to people so they can build it off the backs of a marginalized community such as spicy workers. But then the minute they get the money that they want, they decide to take back, our access to monetizing. They decide to put out laws like Sesta Fosta, where they want to protect folks from trafficking, but clearly, as you know, with the things going on in the news, they don't really give a fuck about trafficking victims. They don't give a fuck about any type of victim. In fact, these are the people that are the same abusers of said victims, yet they want to claim they want to protect them. And so a lot of people say that sex workers, spicy workers are a litmus test for what's to come. We've seen it with Sesta Foster. We've seen it with now these age verification laws, both in the UK that have, I believe, passed, and now they're trying to pass federally here in America. And there are specific states like North Carolina that have passed laws that have not only made folks age verify, but also in North Carolina, a lot of folks can't make spicy digital content like they used to, or even at all, considering that there are draconian laws out there that are meant to stifle and censor us. Um, and so that being said, coming back into spicy work after doing a stint of like on again, off again has been after doing a stint of on again, off again has been very challenging, but on the flip side, it's been very rewarding. Um, and some of the most rewarding moments have been not only monetary, but also very comical. Because let me be clear with y'all, you ain't seen shit that's absurd until you become a spicy worker. Sure, there's a lot of shit on the internet that's just very absurd. And especially at this time that is so precarious, and especially at this time that's very scary. And I want to talk more about this in detail on my other channel. But during very intense times politically, during very intensely conservative and fascist political times, there's often this counterculture of like absurdity that happens. And I would like to argue that sex work is one of those entities where we exist at the intersections of the oppression of like these politicians, white supremacy, community leaders that are conservative that are staunchly against us, while simultaneously experiencing the absurdity of the highs and lows of the business, the absurdity of how these clients interact with us, and just the absurdity of an experience of being a criminalized person within criminalized work, while simultaneously being loved and hated. It's a very weird experience. But just because something is absurd does not necessarily mean it's inherently good or bad. Sex work is not inherently good or bad. It's work. I want to offer that too, and I also want to offer that the people that make it seem like it's bad are the very people, like I said previously, that are trying to stifle our voices. But I digress. Some of the absurdities that I experience in my day to day come from clients, and some of the comments they and some of the comments they make toward me uh, when doing this work. So the other day, um, I was on the bait of chatter, if you will, and I was doing my thing. I was camming. This is a very special day because this was the first day that I got a Levin's toy, which, mind you, everybody was trying to put me on because everybody in camming knows that, like, in order to really survive in that part of the business, you do kind of need interactive tools or interactive toys um, to generate intrigue and also to generate income. Not to say that you can't be successful without it. Um, I did notice, although camming is a struggle for me in general, and I prefer to make clips. I prefer fan sites and clip sites, and PSO sites such as like Night Flirt. I think that's more my jam, especially since, listen, I'm neurospicy. I be tired as hell. My executive functioning do not be functioning. Um, but it be running me like a company executive. So I be burnt out. I be exhausted. My brain be fried. I be dissociating. I be tweaking. So I can't always cam because that requires a level of like energy and a level of performance that my neurospicy ass does not always have the capacity to do. And yes, I was thinking initially, oh, well, I could just cam because it's like Twitch, because I enjoy doing Twitch. Eh, absolutely not. Camming and Twitch are completely different things, although they can be very similar. There are different expectations within camming versus doing something that is predominantly safe for work, such as Twitch. But again, one day I will do a video that breaks down the minutia, weighing the pros and cons of both, and also weighing the similarities and differences of both Twitch and spicier cam channels. But I digress. But anyway, we on the beta chatter. The toy is going off, buzz, buzz. I'm hooting and hollering, having a good time. And then here comes this client. And so this client that came in was doing, he was tipping for the FAP tax. And the FAP tax is just a cute little one token situation because, baby, if you're here to get off to me, you need to be paying. So we appreciate him for that. Then my dude comes in and tips for humiliation, and he goes, I want SPH. So y'all probably like, well, Monique, what the hell is SPH? I can't say too much on this platform. However, SPH is basically, we'll just call it small Peter humiliation, where a person's Peter is small and they're being asked and consenting to paying to be in this case, paying to be humiliated by me, or a provider. So he's like, I would like you to humiliate me and talk about how small my Peter, my Johnson is, and yeah, I'll tip you. I'm like, all right, period. Now, one thing for certain, two things for sure. Humiliation is Monique Starr's jam, okay? And so he PM'd me, he private messaged me, and he sent me a picture of his Johnson. Lord have mercy. I had no kind words to say, and I mean, I'm thankful I was getting paid, but I had no kind words to say to this man, and I had to let him know. I said, I can't even focus on the size right now because your Johnson is so ashy that if I struck a match next to it, it would literally incinerate. Like, let's not even talk about, like, we don't, you putting the cart before the horse, my guy. We don't even got to talk about the size. We really need to talk about how ashy it is. And I know that's because he is diddling it a lot, so to speak. But at the same time, I just want to say that, like, please approach me with some Jergens. Put some Jergens up there before you step to me, before you come into my chat room. Please and thank you, management. So that was a funny situation that occurred that I really enjoyed. Another situation that occurred that fried me bad was on Joystick, which is like Spicy Twitch, where you can still game and stuff. Like sometimes I'll play like Wicked Whim Sims up there. Like I had a strip club playthrough that I'd be doing up there sometimes that I need to get back to. But anyway, one of my regulars came in. I ain't seen him in a minute. And so he was like, hi, how you doing? Do you remember me? And do you remember me fries me? Because it's like, yes, I do remember you. I remember when you tipped me. I remember everybody that contributes financially. Because you got to lock in when them dollars come in. And so I'm just yapping, shooting the shit, talking about how I'm considering doing collabs. Because collabs are a good way to make more money. It's also a good way to maximize your presence on a specific platform, especially if you're dealing with creators that have been a little more seasoned or have a following where you both have similar target audiences, and interests and niches and such. So I've been thinking about ways to explore collaborating, and my regular comes in and he goes, well, sorry, he goes, well, can could I collaborate with you because they laid me off. I got fired. And that fried me so bad. And that fried me so bad because I was like, do you think my Polly Pocket is Indeed or something? You want to apply within, like we doing a, like this is monster.com, like this is Indeed, like this is LinkedIn or some shit. Baby, I'm streaming. I'm shaking my ass for pay. And you up here telling me, can I work with you because I got fired? And do you offer health benefits? And I told him, I don't got an Aetna card for you. I don't have a Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield subscription or subscriptions for you. And if you're not a verified creator, we're not making content. And let me be clear with y'all. These clients piss me off so bad because a lot of times, especially when it be the cishet men coming to you about wanting to collab, it's either they want to fuck you for free or they want to fuck you for free and take your money and not necessarily help promote it, knowing damn well they don't really have an audience. They just want to sleep with you for free and call it a day. And to that I say, no thank you. But anyway, with all the stuff I talked about previously, besides the absurdity of the business itself, I really want to talk about something that has been lifting my Swiss HD lace. And what's been lifting my Swiss HD lace, 13 by 14 frontal, well, I would say even maybe a 360 at this point because it's coming off the scalp. The wig is about to be on the floor. As a marginalized community, I don't think folks are really paying attention to the intersections of identities within spicy workers and spicy work. And what's really pissing me off is that a lot of the palm complected, white, non-black constituents fail to realize that anti-blackness is a thing, and anti-blackness and white supremacy as a whole very much determine the success of individuals and the posturing of certain individuals over other individuals, and how some of these successes or lack thereof help to boost those that have more privilege and that are closer to whiteness or white. And it's very difficult to talk about censorship, to talk about age verification laws, to talk about just laws in general that deeply impact us, to talk about the ins and outs of the business, the even the exploitative entities and production companies and people in the industry, without talking about how these things deeply impact black-bodied people in a very different way and in a more intense way than they do our white counterparts. And what the problem is that the white counterparts spend so much time talking about how they're afraid of these laws, which they should be because they will impact them too. But like, they fail to insert into the conversation that these laws, they still have a privilege of being safer when these laws occur, because it's really going to impact the black trans people that are doing the work first. And I also don't like the fact that a lot of the white performers and providers talk a lot of shit about these platforms, which rightfully so. Like, we should be talking about how OnlyFans and ManyVids have for years capitalized off of the labor, the time, the expertise, and the creativity of spicy workers, while simultaneously contributing to the same systems. And fun fact, the CEO of OnlyFans is one of the biggest contributors to APAC. Uh, yet he claimed he was supporting sex workers, but remember, back in 2021 he was the same person that was trying to get sex workers off the platform. And so, yes, these are very real realities that we do need to articulate and understand and discuss. However, comma, it's very difficult to talk about a reality when your reality is A, skewed, and B, centered in a perspective that's not intersectional, because that's not the full reality. It's just your limited worldview of what the reality is. Chances are, yes, it may impact your earnings, it may impact your work, but it's going to be a lot easier for white folks and non-black folks to pivot into some other work if they have to versus black people, because even statistically, black people, primarily black femmes, across all industries are experiencing a lot of layoffs, are experiencing very high rates of employment, are experiencing a lot of issues with keeping and maintaining employment because of this current administration, because of the revocation of DEI. And I put quotes around DEI because I don't necessarily think that DEI as we knew it was something that was really rooted in genuine intersectionality. It was more like a band-aid to cover up a festering wound, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother channel. Um, you can't, to my white and non-black fellow providers, performers, content creators, workers, you cannot preach solidarity within the community to fight against these laws if you are not standing up for the people that have less privilege than you. Because if so, it's not going to be an equitable experience to fight against these institutions and to fight against these laws that are not only going to bite you in the ass but also come for me first. um there's also so many things that you can talk about other than your own visibility and your own experience on these platforms, because when I look at beta chatter, when I look at cam soda, when I look at my free cams, when I look at clips for sale, when I look at whatever clip site, fan site, night flirt, uh spicy domain that has some sort of algorithm that has a front page, it be mostly y'all up there with some specks of brown and black throughout. And the other shit that pissed me off is that when there be tags that are for black people like Ebony, y'all be up there too. Like, why do you have an Ebony tag and you're not black? So you can cosplay blackness, but you don't like black people and you don't support the black people in your community that have helped you to get where you are, even if it's just the fact that they just merely existed. Because again, your existence is kind of interdependent on mine. Let's be real, in terms of labor, in terms of time, in terms of likeness, in terms of just in general. So I say that to say, y'all can't talk shit about what these platforms are doing if you can't even say, hey, why is this front page looking like a ream of printer paper? Why is this front page nothing but smaller bodies? Why is this front page nothing but able-bodied people? Why is this front page only consisting of people who are closer to whiteness in general? And it don't matter what size y'all performers are, like whether you're a big performer or not, y'all can all push for these platforms to be better, because honestly speaking, they'll listen to y'all first before they ever listen to us. Now, there are some special cases where things are influenced. Like, for example, Night Flirt was heavily influenced by Amberly, who was a fat black femme, and the work that she did to revolutionize that platform. But that these things are a case by case basis. But ultimately, it really does take a village, and it really takes the people who have the most privilege in said village to do the work and to show the fuck up and show the fuck out. So, if we want to continue talking about how these laws are impacting us, if we want to continue talking about how we need to make sure that there is better etiquette within these clients, if we want to talk about how we want to make more money, because let's be real, even even though a lot of us, regardless of race, regardless of other various points of identity, are experiencing lower revenue, white folks, y'all are still making more than we are. And I wish that more spicy work related data collectors would focus more on the identity uh, differentials, or like the identity subsets, and how each category compares to contrasts financially, because I think that's very important to have that information to kind of corroborate my statement, which I don't necessarily need that, but still I would like to have the hard data. Um, but I truly think that if we are going to make a difference and be a difference, it really takes the most privileged of us to step up and step out and show the fuck up. And no, you don't gotta be a superhero. You don't always gotta, like, you know, do all the things. But if you could just try, even if it's like taking one platform at a time, even if it's sending an email, even if it's posting a tweet or a blue sky skeet or whatever. Skeet always be frying me, but we can call it that. Um, even if it means making an Instagram reel, even if it means going into these rooms of these platforms, because a lot of y'all get opportunities to speak to them personally, whether it be at these conventions or even at their headquarters. Let them know how important it is to you that we need more equitable experiences on these platforms, and that these algorithms need to be prioritizing various parts of various bodies and various people. So I think that concludes my desk chat for today. I hope y'all stay well. I hope y'all take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.